map doesn't really favor too many teams. What I do want to see, though, is TSM Entity getting out the plane early. We know they play South George. They can play this position, move down from Hospital, maybe move their drop spot from Yasnaya and stop having to fight off this team of Reject Scarlet. But it looks like they're opting not to do this. Instead, Morph's going to take this position. We'll go all the way down to Multipower. Let's see if anyone heads down to Multipower either, but you can imagine that we are going to get Team IND making all the way down to Sosnovka military base. They're a typical drop spot.
They have dropped out early, though. They've just bailed out of the plane there. You can see just to the west of Rozhok. So maybe they're looking for some cars, but it looks like they're targeting the roads around Gatka, maybe even around Pachinki.
Potentially. Anyway, BTR, obviously we know they go down to farm. This is typically a decent little playing path for most people. Let's chat about Nova Godlike and Team Secret, John.
Let's rap for a second.
Let's rap for a second here. Let's pick the mic back up again. Let's have a little bit of a jam, because these two teams, they have been so surprising. Now, Nova Godlike, Cronton, he's not currently in the roster they're fielding here. And like I said, towards the beginning, or the end of that Sandhawk, is that their roster has been kind of refreshed with players being taken away from Godlight, moved to different South Asian teams, and they've had to rebuild. And that's fine. That's okay. And it feels like they're coming back. But it is very, very difficult, especially in PUBG, where teamwork is so important. It's so important. You got to make sure these other teammates have your back at all times. And it's difficult to do that, especially when communication is dulled down because you're a new team getting used to one another. But it feels like Nova Godlight, in probably the best practice that they'll get ever versus all these fantastic teams, they're starting to pick up the pace.
Strongest metals forged in the hottest fires.
It's true.
So, well, hopefully they're going to be able to prove their mettle moving on forwards. They certainly had a good go at it last game. We'll see if they're able to get a chicken dinner into this one. The circle, centering up southeast, has most of Sosnovka military base in there already, the rest of the island as well, but it's more than likely going to end up towards those Milta fields, maybe going for a shelter finish, maybe towards prison, but could even, you know, go a little bit further west to the hills outside Pachinki.
I did lie, guys. I will take responsibility for my mistakes where I make them. TSM Entity are not in this game.
No, they're very much not.
They're very much not in this game, so we won't see them here today. Synergy, they're over towards that mansion split in Lipovka. They love this. It works out well for them, and they can efficiently put Zigzor over to Lipovka purely because they know that no one's going to really gank him and flank him over on that side of the map, and then he can regroup with the rest of the team once they're all nice and looted up. Also, Prison provides you really nice terrain to like get away from teams, escape, because it's not typically an easy place to flounder your way over and get some of that parkour done, get the vehicles razzing over, and really, really, like, I wouldn't say flank player, but, you know, box them in.
Possibly the most surprising thing about this lobby right now, Blank, it's Udo going Severny. Who'd have thought it? They're going to go up to their northern spot, and that's absolutely unheard of.
Absolutely unheard of indeed. Orange Rock doing their typical start to the game, where they get Marvi on the northern side, Scout coming down past Ruins to meet up with Viru and Gil. I do find that this particular path that they do take early on in the game is kind of claustrophobic. It's like being in an elevator with too many people, because you've got Morph on your west side, you've got Valdus, the murder, over on the east in Rozhok. King of Gamers also here, and I think you don't really have many places to go, especially with Pachinki down to your south. So it's a lot of it's a waiting game. It's a waiting game, John, for Orange Rock, and we know they like to be aggressive. So sometimes they're not waiting long enough.
Biding your time. Patience is a virtue. We'll see if they're able to remain virtuous throughout the rest of the proceedings of the game. Orange Rock split over the river. Morph, they dropped early out of the plane, and they're the only team to actually have landed Georgia Bowl here, Blank. So their rotation path in front of them should be a little bit uncontested until they start to hit towards the hills to the south of Rozhok, towards the hills just to the north of Pachinki.
Yeah, because you're going to start to see this crunch on the western side of the map. It's difficult to get through. There's a lot of fields on the western side, so visibility of those rotations will be quite simple for a lot of teams to fire upon. And obviously rotating, you get exploded in the car, it's an instant death. So teams are going to be happy to take shots onto there. T1 currently control Pachinki. They have a very nice little place to start moving out to the eastern side over Potato Hill. Imagine they might want to do that a little bit earlier, especially with King of Gamers, who potentially will want to take up residence towards that part of the map, start getting some scouting done for themselves.
Mega Stars currently in Novo. They are one of 2 teams on Sosnovka Island. At the moment, Team IND, of course, did make their way down there. Eventually, probably going to have to move north, but we've seen crazier things happen, Blank. I mean, you've seen circles shift all over the shop, so we'll see where it goes this time for us. Crates being looted, though, for Mega Stars. They should be geared to the teeth, ready for the fight.
Yeah, Novo's going to give you a lot of prowess going forward. I mean, we saw, especially the PMWL NA, B4 was a team that did this a lot of times, a Brazilian team, just taking up Novo very early on. And they kind of played like BTR in a way, if you agree, because they would just spend a lot of time outside of the zone and then make their way in, prioritize having 4 players alive, and then go for those last fights where they've got like level 3s, they've got a load of healing on board, as well as all the bullets in the world to suppress everyone down. So Megastars, they can potentially go for that playstyle, but they will have to move through GXR, Celt, as well as BTR. 2 teams not to be scoffed at.
Funnily enough, actually, I think B4 did play in slot number 5 as well, which meant they were purple, if memory serves. Although it did swap around a couple of times, but that's just a...
I'm talking about Megastars, John, not...
Yeah, but you talked about BTR, how they played.
Ah, I see.
How they played similar to...
Making a reference.
Yeah, to what you had just said. So that's nice. Although it is kind of a pointless reference, so we'll move on from that pretty swiftly.
Nice reference, bro. I got that one.
Thank you, Captain America. No Chance team are going to be down the hill in their compound just out to the western side of the circle. T1 up the hill with the oversight on them. And they are going to be controlling that rotation. If they want to push in closer, it might be pretty tricky to find the foothold to do so. You can see T1 have actually spread out quite nicely on their hill.
Yeah, No Chance team actually making a bit of a difference here. They have stopped going down to Quarry and moved up towards where Team Secret plays in Gatka. Instead, they're opting to go much further inland towards, you know, where T1 are currently playing, just to the south of Pachinki. You can see T1 actually rotating over the coastline. It's actually not a bad place to do it. You can start taking shots from the cliffs over towards Synergy or Box Gaming. But Synergy, a team that I want to speak about, just because they have a lot of consistency on board, and I think that neither do they do terribly badly. They don't do terribly well either a lot of times. I think they get those nice big chicken dinners towards the end, but I'm excited to see more from the teams. Currently, they're in 17th place, so they haven't had those massive pop-off games as of yet. But, you know, when we watch them, it doesn't feel like they're doing anything horrendously wrong. So I just want to start to see them pick up the pace just a tiny bit, get those rotations in, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to be fair, for Synergy as well, this is their first game of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
17th place. They have 1 team above them, 1 team below them with 5 games. Morph Team and, Nova Godlike and Box Gaming as well. Either side currently flanking them with 1 game more. We'll see if they're able to use those lessons they learned from yesterday, bring them into today, qualify for that super weekend, which is the all-important prize of the games today.
Yeah, and this is the thing, is this, they just need to bring the cadence up a little bit, and I think once they do that, they'll be absolutely fine, because they are a team that plays well. They tend to have smart rotations. I mean, when we watch them, we don't particularly point them out. We don't go, oh, that's a horrendous rotation from Synergy. We just think to ourselves, you know, they've got in, they found a position, and now they're playing from it, and sometimes they do get caught off guard. Currently, they are watching over towards Box Gaming. Box Gaming taking this 1v1 between those two. But they've both got like pretty secure compounds, so any shot that does come through will be more taking off helmets, taking off vests for probably a breach later on in the game. But look at this shift all the way down to the south side. Now this really does put Sosnovka military base into play.
Very much so, actually. I mean, if you look at the amount of land that is on the northern island, on the main island, I should say, in this next circle, you're probably looking at around 30% of the land mass is actually on that top side, and probably more around 40 to 50% is on that island. So it's likely that we could be going over there. And I think a couple of the teams have figured that out as well. T1, they go swiftly over the edge of the cliff, and they want to go towards the base very, very fast. And I think Nova Godlike as well, doing a similar thing, although they are all in the same vehicle, which I absolutely hate. If you've ever watched me cast PUBG Mobile before, you'll know that 4 people in a vehicle is my pet peeve. I hate it. It's a silly idea and should never be repeated.
It's his least favourite thing, ladies and gents. So don't serve him up at the restaurant. The 4-man car special. Here we can see on the map, you see them taking shots towards T1. Now, I've mentioned this before and I'll mention it again. I think the Sosnovka military base is pretty easy and accessible in terms of compounds and where you can go. There's a lot of ridge sides you can hold from. And these ridge sides, in fact, like they kind of play deterrent to a lot of teams. Sidon taking a little bit of shots here. Novogod like having a good time with this actually. But they play deterrent because, for instance, if you try and hold off the bridge side, you've got teams behind you who can hold you on the ridge behind there. So most teams can't shoot one another. So you really want to try and hold these compounds towards the northern island in these compounds because there's less of them to actually take place into.
Uh-oh, Sadin going very low. First player of T1 who did actually get spotted, and the rest of them, you can see they're just spreading out as wide as possible. Sadin does go down. The rest of them have been taking a little bit of damage from the drowning to avoid this peppered spray of bullets coming in from Novogod, like as they're playing Duck Hunt right now.
Yeah, and if you do go down in the water, it's an instant death. You do not get knocked in the water, you just immediately drown. BTR, though, they're currently on the eastern bridge. Haven't decided whether to cross as of yet. We know they have a decent rotation as they get across, immediately heading off to the west here to find better ground. But yeah, this is just a shooting gallery for Novogod. Like,
this is bullying. This is unfortunate. And what I'm surprised about is that no teams from the mainland have actually looked towards Novogod like to try and maybe third-party their situation, because they're not really looking. You can see they're all looking down south towards the crossing, and they are picking up points for it, and no one's challenged them. No one's looking at them and saying, hey, look, some points as someone's shooting.
I won't lie, I hate this rotation from T1, purely because, number one, it's unnecessary. We're not even at a point in the game where you have to be on Sosnovka.
If it goes back north.
Yeah. But this is the thing, it's not necessary to head down to Sosnovka military base. And what that rotation felt like was a desperation, you know, circle 5, where suddenly we get a hard shift down there and you have to swim across. There's still opportunity to go hold in the fields towards the west side, just south of Pachinki, and then just follow all the rest of the teams in over the bridge. I don't think the swim across was particularly the play, Chief.
Not a fan of that one. We'll see if it comes back to bite them. The western bridge being controlled by Team IND moving in from the south, and no chance team moving in from the north. Neither team really wants to put their toes out of line, as you can see them come up on your screen. No chance actually have control over the bridge itself, but Team IND are just waiting around the corner there. The next circle, oh, okay, a hard southwestern shift. T1, they're luckier with that circle to make that rotation at least somewhat worth it, Blank, but it's very much a coin flip on that, a dice roll, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we got a bit of a weird situation where a lot of teams can hold one another at the same time with the ridges that are currently in play. There's also the airfield available to us. We know there's a lot of fun little spots there you can play down in the military base itself, but all the teams are going to start to funnel down to the southwest. This western bridge is going to be a hotly contested zone. A lot of it is just going to be teams flying across here, looking to find a compound for themselves. You see BTR start to make their move too. We know they're going to head off to the west once they cross this bridge. U2 heading towards the underneath of the bridge. You might think they're going to swim for this, or they might try and challenge BTR.
BTR know better than just a full send across this bridge. They know there can be teams waiting for them and lying in wait to challenge them. Orange Rock taking a fight, and it's going pretty well for them right now.
So now Novogod, like, you want to go for the dive. You have to taste your own medicine now with Orange Rock in the exact same spot.
Wow, this is literally the exact same situation.
Yeah, what comes around goes around, John.
Absolutely, and now they're having to make exactly the same push. So we'll see if they're as successful as T1, who managed to get 2 players across. We'll see how many Novogod-like are able to get through, currently down to 2 players. Two of them did fall, still making that cross. Orange Rock across the hill are controlling a lot of sight lines as well from this cliffside, and they might be the last team to make that swim across from the headland.
It's smart, though, because they take a lot of time to do this, and they can start to destroy and pick apart the other teams on the other side and really, like, secure their landing on the bridge, make sure no one's watching it. So they're just going to try and take out as many teams as possible. We're currently trying to rotate this way. Unfortunately for them, 2 players from Novogod did make it to the other side of the water. But you know what, Orange Rock, they have a little time for themselves. They aren't actually, well, the cliff face itself isn't actually outside the zone as of yet.
You level up. They are going to have a rescue attempt go on over on the mainland. But in the meantime, Bullets are flying. Bigatron yet to cross the bridge, will need to make it through. And there's so many teams actually clustered on this northeastern side, Blank. I think there's about 5 squads all trying to make it across here. Freestyle have pushed into Bigatron's position, who are holding down on the bridge. It's zone 3, so the zone is survivable.
It is a cluster of teams over here. Luxy just going to pan this player. Well, actually didn't even have to pan him, he just died. But now, you imagine they're going to start to consider moving down. King of Gamers, they're in a really tricky spot here. They're very much behind everyone else. GXR Celts taking their time. Ryzen takes one player out from Udo. And here's Fredo. Jumps into the water with Mamparang, but Fredo's so incredibly low. Oh dear.
That is unfortunate. Does go down to the blue zone. Gets knocked out. The rest of Udo are going to have to try and get through with only the scraps left to try and get them in. Mamparang will have to get into the vehicle to get any healing done, so we'll see what happens. The next zone comes through. My mind is thrown immediately back to a game in the PMPL Americas with Loops, who were controlling the compound there on the northern edge.
Oh yeah, this is a very, very fun little circle, and you know, you've got to get onto the beach, so hope you brought your parasols that are made of steel, because they will need to block bullets.
Steel parasol, thinking Kingsman, really.
I know.
That's what we're looking for. Team IND, unfortunately, don't get that up in time. They don't pop the brolly. Valdez the murder rain down on them.
IND 420 OP, actually inside of a little bit of a hidey hole at the moment. Megastar's currently going on to T1.
Oh dear, one player from T1 down, and this is the last remaining player for them, making that early cross across the river. They were down to 2, and now it's just Youngdren down to about 2 HP, if we're honest here. Might as well be trying to go out wide, try and maybe actually get a pick there. That was
That's
bold.
a dangerous game that he's playing, yes.
That was very bold. 3 players from Megastars will be ready and waiting to slap up that kill, and it's the nade to find it. When you don't need to fight on the sightlines, just pop a nade in the room.
Yeah, make sure it's quick and easy there. And I think for Megastars, they don't want to lose another player, which is absolutely fine. Now that Orange Rock knows that a lot of teams have been basically decimated on the other side of the bridge. Nova Godlike Vampire have only 1 player remaining. You know that he's going to go for the snaking game. He's definitely not going to try and fire onto Orange Rock. This is the perfect time for Orange Rock to move across as a force so they can support one another. I really love the patience coming through from Orange Rock, and now they're going to start to make the swim. I hope they brought the speedos.
A little bit of a replay here. This is Team IND holding off Valdez the murder on the western bridge as they try and make that push. They did lose a player in response, but they controlled that ground and actually stopped Valdez the murder from getting any further. The spray down from 420 OP finishing them off. Actually, no. A long fall and a short stop was what did them in, but Valdez the murder get eliminated nonetheless.
So now it's Jexy, 4-man team from Morph, actually making their way in from the western side. And this is the biggest threat to Orange Rock right now. And they're going to get onto the bridge and immediately be under fire. They're going to be so visible. No. And right now in the water, they can't even heal. So by the time they get here, they're going to be bruised and battered and easy prey for Morph.
About half HP on 3 of those players. Scout's still healthy. Scout's still going strong. If they make it to that headland, they might be able to pop a couple of shots, and actually a little bit of damage sent their way. Scouts managed to pop up, and shots are landing.
Okay.
DP at range, taking a knock over towards Morph as well, and they've managed to beach.
Oh, you can knock me down, but I get back up again, says Scout here, actually taking shots back from the DP. Oh dear, smoke's come through, and now Orange Rock, they've officially made their way on. This was a really good hold. Scout's feet were still wet when he was taking those shots.
Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. It's really not gone well for them, unfortunately for Morph. They are going to take a few knocks, and they'll have to send in to try and reclaim. The question is, how far in can Orange Rock go? The only team, by the way, to make that headland to Peninsula crossing safely. All 4 players alive.
Yeah.
The rest of the teams that tried it, T1 and Nova Godlike behind them, all lost 2 players on that crossing.
Yeah, it was a do-or-die moment as Scout stumbled out of the water and immediately took some fantastic shots for the DP over to Morph Gaming to buy themselves a little bit of time. But now they need to start opening up the smoke trains. You can see it on your screen right now because getting off this beachhead is incredibly difficult, especially with the players like Box Gaming who are going to be absolutely holding down the tree line just outside. So this is really wonderful. I actually like this play from Orange Rock. They're going to try and get over to the shack on the other side that currently Vampire is holding in. And also they know that Morph Gaming have taken some casualty, taken some damage from that side, so they're less likely to peek. This is really well played from Orange Rock.
The quietest team in the lobby have their representative out in the water trying to swim their way in It is Horshan, but they've been spotted out by Box Gaming. Immediately taken out. Beautiful stuff. Loki knew where it was. Scout, takes a lot of damage. Will go down as well. Loki, only a little bit of damage in response. Just a lick, and we'll be able to heal that back up. Scout should be resable, but the time is ticking away for them.
Yeah, he's down. He's
Might just be confirmed there. Does fall out, and that is going to be Box picking up the kill.
Yeah, he's... Ooh, okay. That is a nice spray from Louis. Gil has to return fire now, but Gil goes down. There's one more player, Orange Rock. They're in a really tight spot.
They couldn't get any further. They made that crossing, but there was no cover for them. They used their smokes, and they get taken down. Box hold down the coast. Morph able to help them too.
Yeah, it's a really difficult run for Orange Rock there off the beachhead. Box Gaming do a fantastic job, especially Loki, the trickster himself, playing around with all the teams who are in the water before they even got onto the top side. Look at this. He's still doing it again. Louis was able to pick up a tanky there. Obviously, GXR Celts, they're out in the blue zone for a long time. They took a risk and thought to themselves, we'll try and wait as long as possible and then move in with the blue. But the teams were aware of it happening. Synergy, though, on the south side of the map. Another standard clean rotation from them to get onto Sosnovka military base with 4 players alive. Currently hold a decent position. They have practically all of the south side to themselves. The rest of the team, 6 teams on the north side of this circle.
This is a story of Box Gaming picking up all of these kills right here, Blank. 8 kills.
8, yeah.
The next highest team, 3 kills. Bigatron, Red Aliens, and Valdez the Murder both getting that number, but nobody really stepping anywhere close to what Box Gaming has done so far, with 7 teams still standing. And it's Synergy, in fact, with 0 kills. And they're still going, all 4 players alive. They're playing this one cool, Blank.
I know, well, this is the thing. A lot of other teams have taken fights to get here. They have gone through the ringer and inside the ring itself, going for a bit of a boxing match. There have been broken noses, but Synergy, they've come out looking pretty.
Morph, not looking so pretty themselves, though, unfortunately. 2 players down on the cross. They're trying to get into this building, which is in the next zone. And in fact, they might be able to crawl 1 or 2 in. No, Loki denies them entry. 9 kills found for Box Gaming now, and they continue their presence from the hill.
Sirvi makes an insanely fast run. Very, very quick reactions from this boy here to get into a small position behind the shack where he can start to scout out, think where he can move next. Team IND are probably their biggest opponents on the western side of the circle. I'm not sure they're aware of them as of yet, but they're pretty much locked down by Megastars currently. They have to get across the roadside, which is a little bit difficult. That was actually pretty smart from Sirvi. He knows that the vehicle's going to get blown up here, but at least it gives him an inkling of where the bullets are coming from.
We'll be looking through those top windows, trying to watch for the peaks, but Box still have control over a majority of this, and in fact, over Bigatron's position as well. A nade sent on into the smoke, falls a little bit short. Bigatron still have their shack to play around. Nade out in response as well, trying to give them some cover. The smokes are blooming as they need to push on in to the west flank.
Ryzen here with the DP, that long-range weapon, but it's Synergy dropping onto Megastars. Vexy with a nade in hand, but he's already taken a lot of damage. Zigzaw moving out the side.
Sirvi, the absolute unit, just rattles on in and takes them down. Megastars eliminated. Not a single knock goes towards Synergy. Beautiful execution on the push.
And that was a 3-man unit. They had Sirvi still behind there, actually on the off angle. Really well played. Ryzen out in the blue. Loki just keeping him held down here. He's not getting in. He's just playing games with the boy.
Nova Godlike still going strong as well. Only 1 player, but that's not going to matter. Bigatron eliminated there in 6th place. And Box Gaming continue to dominate, put themselves in double digits, and add 1 more as well. 11 kills found. They're looking for number 12. Snacks gets knocked, not confirmed yet, but it's only a matter of time. Bushes don't block bullets.
No, they do not, John. Loki has been having the game of his life here. Oh, dearie me. This is so difficult for him to do anything. Anyway, Synergy, they're down towards the south side, still just on the cusp once again. They're having this circle move away from them time and time again. You'd be surprised if it moves north, but they're praying for this south shift. Kratos still in the game, though, starting to creep his way in from the west.
It's Loki and Louis for Box Gaming. 5 kills apiece, Blank. They are racking them up. Vampire with a nade right on top of him, actually, able to find a little bit of cover from it. IND eliminated. And Nova Godlike, they're still in it, Blank. They're in the top 4 yet again. go down in fourth, but they get to the top 4.
Yeah, it's a good time for them indeed. Circle heads center here, doesn't favor anyone. Louis, as well as the 3 players of Box on the eastern side, they have an off angle here. It's really, really good. No Mercy trying to move out. Synergy currently Box Gaming's biggest threat.
3 teams alive, Blank, and most of them, well, one of them really down on their luck. It's basically 2 teams here, as you say, so we'll see how much further No Mercy can get. Vehicles seem to be alive there outside of Synergy's position. You can see that as they crashed up, they didn't get blown up at all, so they should be able to relocate if they need to, if they choose to. But Box Gaming, they're not really going to have to, Blank.
Look at Loki here, level 3 backpack. Level 3's across the board here. He's having a fantastic time for himself. Ted moving out with the vehicles, trying to use that impromptu cover.
Uses that smoke beautifully, able to park up that
nades,
but nades.
Oh, break.
Okay, send it into the defilade, and Box Gaming continue. 13 unlucky for some, but not for Box Gaming. 13 kills found.
And now Zigsaw trying to move out in the vehicle, heavily damaged. Just one more shot will take him down, and Pime, he's already looking for the off angle.
Strider up close will be the first to face. A little bit of healing potentially coming through for Zigsaw. Gets that first aid off. Ted still down, still bleeding. Break puts him out of his misery. 14 kills found now for Box Gaming as they continue to mount up. Remember, Box Gaming current kill leaders of any chicken dinner in the eastern region. 20 kills for them, and they're looking to try and challenge that. I don't think it's possible for them to be able to get it done, but they're going to give themselves a run for their own money.
Zigsaw and Strider still alive. These guys are the heavy assaulters on the side of Synergy. They're still alive, so they've got a good chance. One player of Box Gaming is down in Pime, so it's currently a 3v2. If Synergy can pick up one more kill here, one more knock, sorry, there is a chance for them.
Box are very worried about this third party as well, coming in from the last remaining player for Morph. It's No Mercy as well. Managed to make it out of the building, so can start to snake around. We'll see if that comes to be a factor.
Break now, just stimming up. Knows he wants as much health as possible before he takes his fight. They are not at all underestimating Synergy. They know that this could go either way, but 14 kills on the board already. This is a ridiculously good game for them.
Slowing it down, and actually Pime bleeds out in the zone. So, Box Gaming going out. And so do Morph. They get eliminated there. Blue Zone claims that one. And now we're down to 2 teams. 3 players alive and up for Box. 1 player's down, Pime, as we did see him get knocked. Will get rezzed. Pops the first aid kit as they pop a couple of shots over towards Strider, making a swift cross. Next zone comes in and actually shifts a little bit closer to Synergy. Gives them a little bit of a lifeline. But Loki looking to snip that one sharpish.
Yeah, they've got so much cover on board. Strider, as if that nade didn't take him out. He is on life support right now, and he needs some help.
Goodness me, bullets flying towards Synergy's position, and you just have to wonder how on earth can they break out of this, Blank. There's so little cover around them. There's so little chance for them to survive. How are those bullets not landing? Zigsaw gets a little bit of a damage towards Louis. Has to drop down, has to heal up just a little bit. Pime, though, will be peppering the ground. Zigsaw, he's dodging all of these bullets, Blank. The nade doesn't even hit Strider this time. Synergy, they're deflecting.
Oh yeah, they're backing Synergy into a corner, and that's when the beast fights hardest. Strider towards the bottom of this hill. You can see Break trying to move in. That's Pime now down. Zigsaw immediately relocates. Break also down. Just Lockie and Louis still alive.
2 players going for Box Gaming. Zigsaw crawling his way forwards. Will have spotted Louis. Strider goes in, gets the knock. The 2 players from Synergy. They're trying to make it happen. Just Loki alive. A heavy fragger for Box in this game, in this lobby, and it's 2 players that he has to challenge now. Put your money where your mouth is, my friend. Pime gets eliminated. Loki now caught in this 1 versus 1. They've turned it around. He can't get it done. It's Synergy who come back in swinging.